There is nothing more frightening to a white liberal than a smart, independent black man.
To be black and beautiful means nothing unless you're black and powerful. Let's just get that straight. You cannot be black and proud and niggas too. Okay.
This is Dr. George C. Fraser. He's worked for some of the largest corporations in the world and now runs his own business called Empower, which he named based on the literal interpretation of the word, not the emasculating fake one used by leftists. According to Dr. Fraser, white liberals are setting up black Americans for what he calls a second slavery, in which they will be utterly dependent on the government for every aspect of their lives. He lays the blame for this trend ultimately at the feet of the black community itself for focusing on the wrong things and taking the easy path towards servitude instead of the difficult path toward independence.
That white folks are planning for 3 generations and we're planning for Saturday night, right? Because the goal, brothers and sisters, is to win, not to look like we're winning. I would rather carry a plastic bag with $5,000 in it than to carry a $5,000 Louis Vuitton bag with $100 in it. You ain't winning. Louis Vuitton is winning, Nike is winning, Gucci is winning, Armani is winning. You ain't winning.
What is it about Dr. Fraser's message that is so terrifying to the liberal community? That's actually pretty easy to answer. It means no less than the end of their ability to control this community and use it to forward their own political objectives. Larry Elder calls the so-called war on poverty and the resulting welfare state a neutron bomb that was dropped on the black community, hollowing out its drive, ambition, and values. Lyndon Johnson unfortunately got his wish, and the results were catastrophic. Johnson's programs, in essence, paid black fathers to leave their homes, with a completely unsurprising result that before his programs, the out-of-wedlock birth rate in the black community was 21%. Today, it stands closer to 80%. Prior to Johnson, the so-called Great Society, black unemployment was around 15% lower than white unemployment. Today, it's closer to 30% higher. Home ownership in this community is about the same as it was 50 years ago, while home ownership among the other racial groups has soared. Now, leftists would have us believe that the decline of this community is due to so-called systemic racism that still exists today. Left unanswered is the question of how it can possibly be that this community is in statistically worse shape now than it was before the quote-unquote Great Society began 50 years ago. There really can be only 2 answers. Answer number 1, the welfare state did not achieve its desired purpose and should be abandoned. Answer number 2, the welfare state substantially damaged the black community and should be abandoned. Predictably, neither one of these things is being discussed by leftists today. The only thing that is being discussed is how they can do more of the things that have clearly not worked in the past. There was a time when this false leftist narrative was so entrenched that there was virtually no discussion of any alternative. Thank heavens, that is beginning to change.
It is interesting to me that the rich stay rich by pretending to be poor, and the poor stay poor by pretending to be rich.
People like Dr. Fraser and more people, as time goes on, are starting to believe what they can see with their own eyes, as opposed to what other people, leftists, are telling them. That the idea of black inferiority and dependence was a lie. And that the best, in fact, the only way to succeed in the modern world is to compete and to win. These people are not fools, far from it. They know discrimination exists, and it exists in a number of ways, and it goes in a number of directions. But always, to lay the blame for your own problems at the feet of another person is a losing life strategy. Dr. Fraser is a winner. Eric July is a winner. Thomas Sowell, Larry Elder, Clarence Thomas, Candace Owens. The list is substantial, and the list is growing. So be afraid, white liberals. Be very afraid. Your day of reckoning is finally coming.